When I started making jewelry back in the day, and we didn't have the internet and we didn't have any resources other than people in the trade and some books, it was difficult because I didn't go the usual steps to know how to get into the trade. So hopefully in this video I can teach you, or I can share some of my experience, so if you're thinking about getting into the trade, it might make life a little easier for you. My name is Jaco. I've been in the trade for 30 plus years. Behind the camera, as always, is Demaya. Welcome to this video. I didn't know anybody that was teaching me. I had no workshop or anything like that, but I knew, because I had some exposure being in a workshop at one point, that this kind of job would be the type of thing that will make me very happy. I had one person that gave me the opportunity to sit in his workshop for a day, I think it was, and then after that they told me that, as you would, that they have no time or no space, and I left. But I didn't stop because the bug had bitten. You can start this world, whether you want to do it as a job or whether you're doing it as a hobby, 100% you can do this from anywhere with whatever skills you're starting with and with however little tools you can afford. You can start with wire, and it doesn't have to be wire that's silver wire or gold wire. You can start with something as simple as copper wire. It's all interlinked, and when I mean interlinked, I mean chain, for instance. You can create chain with literally just wire. You can create jewelry just with your hands in that sense. Your very first tools that you start buying should be the tools that you really absolutely need, because you want to grow from this point. So the simplest thing that I could explain is that you would start with some sort of setup where you have some access to some stable form in front of you. And this could be, and I've seen this, it could be a workbench, but again, big item. So it can just be any table whatsoever. I've seen people take a bench peg, which could be any piece of wood, really. It doesn't have to be the most expensive bench peg. It's literally just a piece of wood. Clamped to a table, clamped because it's your table, you don't want to destroy it, so you can just clamp it there, with a big tray underneath them to catch whatever they're working with. And I appreciate those starting points, because those starting points it makes you appreciate when you get the next tool or the next item or the next idea. It makes you appreciate where you're coming from. With a bare minimum, you can make some exceptional jewelry. Some of the stuff I made before I was employable, before any of my work had any meaning to anyone, other than my mom perhaps, some of those items I've made were some of the most incredible items I've ever made in my life, because I had all this time to create these incredible pieces that are opulent in my world right now, that I rarely get to touch because I had the time to actually make them. And I wish I had some of that left, but as a goldsmith you don't think about that, and many times I destroyed some of the first pieces I made to use the material to make the next piece. Your very first item that I would recommend you buying would be a jeweler's saw frame. It can be, again, very expensive or simplistic as anything. I have quite a few, and the ones right now I have quite a few, but the one that I treasure most would be the one where I started from. The battered old saw frame, which I could afford back in the day, still does the job, and I still use it in my professional world right now. It will instantly open up your jewelry creation world. There's principles involved in simplicity which are very important when you're starting out, and that's maybe one of the other things that I would advise you is start off with something simplistic, but do it well. And once you can do it well, and you can do it with comfort and speed, you evolve to the next step. So even if it's a plain shape that you're cutting out, make sure you stay exactly next to that line, make sure that everything is true, make sure you work it off as good as you possibly can. Because if you're evolving from there, you're actually got a situation where those principles are included in the next type of work that you're doing.
So what if people have the capital and would like to know what they should start with?
What is the first things that I need to buy? I would probably say don't buy anything and hold on to the money, and be ready with that money to buy the thing that comes your way rather than to invest it, because honestly a salesperson will sell you everything that they possibly can, and possibly the things that they don't really sell often of. They'll see you coming a mile away and you'll walk out with a box full of things which are unnecessary, but mostly that probably could have gone into something that would have been necessary. In today's world where I'm sitting in the UK and in many other countries as well, there are plates that they'll sell you, pre-rolled plates. That cancels out needing to buy a rolling mill for the moment. And the other thing is you want to buy a proper one. Pricey ones generally are better quality. And why is that important? Because the one right next to the camera where I'm sitting right now has been with me for more than 30 years and it's flawless. I've never needed to replace it. It has just absolutely done its job all the way through. If you bypass it, put something away towards it as you're going along until you can get even a small version of a quality rolling mill, you've got something for life. Start off with your saw frame. The bench peg could, as I say, be on a table. I've seen friends even mounted on blocks of wood, like tree stumps. Anything sturdy that will give you resistance. I would maybe look at something like a drill. Look online for second-hand tools. Honestly, these Fordham motors that I've had, this one was the second one I bought. The first one I left when I moved. It was still going strong. So we're talking 30 years of one tool doing its job every single day, the whole day long, without breaking. So if one of these come up online, second-hand, some guy's closing up his workshop, he bought the stuff, he's decided to do something else, and he's selling it for a second-hand value. Compare that price to what you can buy new, and buy that as well as the saw frame, as well as the bench peg for the price that you would pay for a new one, even more.
What about a block? Like
so I mean, you can find those anywhere. This is one that I've carried with me forever. What is this? It's a stamping block. Now this one's not in the best condition because it's it's been hammered quite a bit, but it does what it's supposed to do. It does what it says. But that's not a tool that I bought. That's a piece of metal I picked up somewhere. I can't tell you where I picked it up, but it's a piece of metal and it's hardened. It's a hard old piece of metal. It's flat. It's the other thing. So what does this do? And I've added a little bit of like rubber at the bottom because it gives it some stability and some shock absorbance. Not that you want a lot of that in this. This tiny little block has served me well. That's the next thing, a hammer. So again, you can spoil yourself. And perhaps if you've got a bit of money to spend, then a good quality jeweler's hammer would be one of the items that I would buy. There's a few that you might be interested in. But honestly, the hammer that you use for knocking in nails will do the same thing. The other ones are just more appropriate for jewelry because of their weight and their consistency and everything. Again, I've got hammers here that are not appropriate for jewelry. They were never made for jewelry, and I use them for jewelry for, all my career. I've been working with, you buy a big old hammer if you want something to be nice and forceful. You buy that from the hardware shop. Another great place is antique shops and second-hand shops. And of course, marketplace and those places are great for these things. There's a lot of crossover tools. A hammer, a drill, a saw frame, a bench peg. You've got a few years right there of making some incredible jewelry. Shaping, as it evolves, if you wanted to shape it, then you start bringing in things like torches. For simple soldering, you can use a unit that doesn't even have oxygen attached to it. You can use a unit which is literally handheld with a little canister. It needs that little. And you won't be wasting your money because you can always use these torches for annealing or for bigger items. So when you get to the finer parts of jewelry, then you need something a little bit more direct. If you can, and once again, let's say you have a little pocket full of money and you wanted to buy a nice hammer for yourself and you were thinking what else to buy, a torch is a good idea. It's kind of like we use elements. The earth provides us with this material, and all we're doing is we sort of scoop it out of the earth and we go, this is the nicest representation of what we could find. Like,
Oh,
this is, look here, this is earth. We shaped it like this so you can wear it. The torch is the element of fire, earth, fire, wind with the oxygen,
water
with
quenching.
ultrasonic and quenching, and we're working essentially with very raw elements here. The torch would be one part of it. You've already got earth right there. Your torch also allows you the oxygen. We add oxygen to a butane or propane torch. Propane is what I use. Acetylene is what some other people use. We add this to our lives to make it better, to make it hotter, to make it more efficient. You can start with a very minimalistic heat source that will melt a simple piece of solder. We'll bring a piece of silver together to another piece of silver and melt the two parts together. Melt the solder together so that those two parts are stuck together. It's not difficult. To get it really perfect might become a little bit more challenging, but that's a personal thing. The practical side of things is, will it stick from the one to the next? How does it stick? You bring a torch, you got some solder, put the two together, you learn, you melt some things, you get it right again, you mess it up, you get it right again. I started on a market, which I loved because the market was everything like directly with your customers, in their faces. They find you, they bring you something, or you make something that they really appreciate, and it's in an environment which was just, bliss. Some people enjoy that so much that they never leave the market space. And the market space in many ways is a lot of creativity. You're delivering something that you made that didn't exist before. You're a goldsmith, you're a silversmith, you're a jewelry maker. You start off like that, and if there's more you want out of it, if you have more that you want to learn, if there's more you feel that you need to soak up more of this world, it's deeper than what one lifetime will take you. You'll get to the end of it, and when you get to the end of it, of your career, you'll realize that there's not enough space in one lifetime to learn what you need to learn. 2 lifetimes won't cut it either. It's endless. There's just so much depth in this stuff, and there's so much, it just becomes almost spiritual, the way that you live.
I love it.
It becomes ridiculous. And so you're not starting something that has an end. It's if you've got curiosity and you're a creative person, this is an endless game. And all of the creative fields are like that. As a musician, you get this exactly the same thing. You get to a point where you realize, no, this is what it's about. I'm telling you now, if you're just starting out, it's to come. So it's no end to this. If you're going for the real depth of this trade. I haven't found it yet, and I think the fun in it is that you keep chasing it. You keep challenging yourself, like, to get to the next level of what we do. Yes. And you can do it with absolutely nothing, and it can evolve into absolutely everything. And if you've got any more questions regarding this, please throw them down in the comments. And good luck to you. And especially now when the world is open and information is free, have this bit of information, and we'll see you next time.